Welcome back, Nick Lenz's movie review, episode number 120. This time I'm reviewing the third MCU film, Iron Man 2, which came out in 2010, and the only MCU film that came out that very year. Yep, first film in 2 years. Why they didn't release the film in 2009? Probably because it was too quick for them. Yep, and plus also Disney bought them that very year. I did hear this film have rush production. They rushed this film into production like right after Iron Man 1 came out, they rushed it into production. Now this film, we had the return of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Jon Favreau, who returns as director, and of course Happy Hogan, who has a much bigger role in this film, aside from a two-scene cameo. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. Rhodey returns to the movie, but replaced the actor with Don Cheadle. Yep. I have heard the reason why that Terrence Howard didn't come back was money. Yeah, apparently that he wanted the same salary as Robert Downey Jr., but since he was turned down, he left and he got replaced with Don Cheadle, who I think does an okay job as War Machine. We see 3 characters make their first ever live-action appearance in the comics, one of whom, now there is another character pops up in here as well, who's main villain. He is just an anagram of 2 completely different characters. The 3 characters who definitely make the first live-action appearance, it's officially just 2, but one just an anagram of 2 characters. We see Nick Fury in the movie a lot more in a freaking cameo. Yep. We see the first appearance of the Black Widow played by the awesome and the beautiful Scarlett Johansson. We also have Justin Hammer played by Sam Rockwell in his first appearance. I have talked to Bob Layton about this character. He thinks Sam Rockwell is a great actor. According to him, he did an okay job as Justin Hammer, who, well, from the way they portrayed him in the movie, around the same age as Iron Man, despite the fact in the comics he's a much older guy. There is one other character aside from the main villain makes first appearance in the movie, and that's the Crooked Senator. Yes, this senator. Oh boy, this senator. Yeah, the senator who they reveal something evil about him in Captain America: Winter Soldier. Stern. Yeah, that's his name. Senator Stern. We also see the return of Howard Stark in this movie, along with Christine Everhart, who is doing a piece on Justin Hammer. Yep. Okay, what about this villain, Whiplash? Who is the main villain in this film? Okay, he's an anagram of 2 completely different characters. The Crimson Dynamo, who simply is the Russian Iron Man, which was heavily associated with communism back in the 60s, and a character named Whiplash. Yes, I should point out that the character who is Whiplash in the comics, that guy did show up on an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., while this guy here, played by the awesome Mickey Rourke, yes, from what I can tell about this particular character, and the way Rourke himself, from what I can tell, and from what I've heard from interviews, he did not like his experience with this movie at all. This is probably by far his least favorite film he's been on recently over the past 10 years. I mean, the film that pretty much revived his career was The Wrestler. This film, for him, was basically time he wanted to forget about. Yep, that's simply the way it is with Whiplash. And they established the fact his father used to work for Howard Stark back in the 60s. We defected from the Soviet Union. And then we discovered trying to sell some stuff, and Howard had him deported. Yep. So, yeah. And of course, Tony, is revealed to be dying in the movie because of the arc reactor in his chest. So he has to have a new mineral. Yep. Excuse me. Also, he turns his reactor core in his chest and armor from circular to triangle, though by Avengers his back being a circle again. Yeah, there's no explanation of why the heck that is. We also see a version of Captain America's shield pop up in here. Not the actual one, mind you. It looks like a replica of one. Yeah, it was pointed out though by returning Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson. Yeah. The thing with him in here, he's unlike in the last one we've seen for like a few scenes. Here he's seen for a good about 50% of the movie. And then like he just stops appearing. The reason is because he's sent off to New Mexico. Yep. As what happened to him on the way to New Mexico, well, you have to see there's a one shot basically explains what he was up to from here up to New Mexico. Yeah, which the whole thing with that sets up the Thor film. Yep. And the whole thing with Justin Hammer. See, Tony is brought before U.S. Congress, which this is a scene pulled directly from the original Stan Lee run from the 60s, where he is ordered to go before Congress to testify and give away his materials. He says no, so yeah. Of course, he said no. He's like, I'll take nomination for Secretary of Defense, which he does get that in the comic books for about 5 years before he had to relinquish it thanks to him getting drunk and nearly trying to assassinate the Latvian ambassador. This was, of course, a story that came out just before the Avengers disassembled. Yep, and plus also he was in financial turmoil after this. Yeah, his company's doing fine, but he himself was not right in the head after the events disassembled. Yep. And of course, though, they have Justin Hammer show up, who apparently is kind of like Stern's lackey in this scene, and so he tries to replicate basically replicate Tony's armor, which is a nod to the art. Now, basically, this film is basically taking elements from storylines like our Demon of Battle, which I've talked about this. It is true that storyline was heavily influenced this film, along with Armor Wars. Mainly the first one, second one, nothing really much to do with this. And that's it. That's only two storylines they loosely adapted for this film. Yeah, and the whole thing with Justin Hammer being involved with someone stealing his tech, well, that's taken from a What If story. Yep. Black Widow basically introduced, as Natasha, not Romanoff, but Russell. Yep, that's what her alias is. And basically she's become like Stark after. See, Gwyneth Paltrow, she was made the CEO of Stark Industries because Tony wanted to spend more time making his armors. So, and of course you have the Stark Expo happening, which, according to Pepper, it's just an extension of Tony's ego. Eventually to become a couple by the end of the movie. War Machine, we have War Machine, a proper version of the armor, made by, of course, Justin Hammer. Though the suit gets hacked by Whiplash, who tries to kill Iron Man, and a bunch of people at the Stark Expo. Yep. Now Iron Man fights Whiplash twice in the movie. Not like in the last film where he fought Ironmonger. Excuse me. Once the first time he fights, it was at a racetrack in frickin' France, where he puts on this armor, the Silver Centaurian armor, which appears for one scene and it comes out of a suitcase. Which, that's a nod to how Tony Stark's armor used to come in the comics. Come out of a suitcase. Yep. The Silver Centaurian armor was an armor that he used when he was operating out of California. Basically, where he's operating right now. And also when he was a member of the West Coast Avengers. That's the reason why he was using the armor. He only used the armor for about a few years before it was destroyed. Yep. Though it was later rebuilt, though he never used the armor ever again. But it's a great looking armor. It's basically a dark red with lots of silver in it. Mm-hmm. Though he does go to his traditional armor look that he's known for using the burgundy and the red and gold that he's known for using over the years. Mm-hmm. The fight scene in the movie is really good. As Scarlett Johansson, aside from being assistant, and she's also a really damn good boxer. And I love the fact that they keep the fact that Happy is a retired boxer in here. Yes, which is something he was definitely in the comic books. He was a boxer before he became Tony Stark's bodyguard and chauffeur, which by the next film he becomes his chief of security. Yep. And of course, we see Natasha in her outfit that she's known for wearing a couple times in the movie. First time is when Tony Stark has to leave his house, despite the fact he's sick. And we see Nick Fury shows like, Man, I have more to deal with than basically babysit your butt. That's kind of what he says. When he tells him, he says, first he says, like, "Sir, can you leave the donuts?" Step out of the donut, which I think is so funny. And of course, Tony is basically still in the armor. The reason why this is because he had a fight with War Machine, and he tells DJ, "Put on some fight music. I'm gonna beat up my best friend." He's like, DJ's like, "Sure, you're paying me anyways." And of course, the joke is like, "How in the world do I go back to this?" He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's okay." Yeah, the whole party scene is so hilarious because he just feels like doing it. Yep. All because he's out of control, and of course he have Ruddy put in the tire, and of course they beat up, and of course his house gets smashed up. Because it's his house, he can smash up his house if he want to. Eventually, got a bunch of paperwork by S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's also revealed in the movie that basically the Howard Sock helped form S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, interesting. And well, he finds a new source and gets himself cured. Oh yeah, and he keeps his whole secrets from Pepper the whole movie. Eventually, he rescues Pepper, gets to make out with her, they become a couple, and of course, Roy's like, "Yeah, I'm keeping the suit," despite the fact here's the thing. In the Iron Man 3 prelude, he basically... Tony makes a brand new suit that's free from Justin Hammer's weapons, because he knows weapons are terrible. Oh yeah, and because the fact that, also, Whiplash went to prison, and here's kind of the thing, when he had Justin Hammer meet in prison, apparently they decided to keep him in his underwear for some reason. I have no idea why. And of course, they're thinking about getting a bird. Of course, they have the drones for pilots. And of course, War Machine, whatever. Yeah, there's a whole thing with Justin Hammer. Eventually, Hammer is arrested by the police, and it's revealed in the Iron Man 2 novel adaptation that he was eventually taken into custody by S.H.I.E.L.D. And he was never seen again in the movies. Nope, no more Justin Hammer. Surprisingly, he's actually the first villain per se to actually not get killed. Yeah, he actually survives. Whiplash, of course, dies. He's not killed by, let's say an accidental explosion that he does on purpose, but he does it to himself. He basically commits suicide. Blows up a whole frickin' dome, though basically Tony and Rhodey basically, escape from the dome anyways. Yeah. I gotta say, for a second film, it's actually pretty good despite its rust production. It looks fantastic, and I love the fact Favreau was basically came back to direct this one, but he did not come back for Iron Man 3. I give this film roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a bit of a step down from the first one, but it's still pretty good nonetheless. Next film is the first film in a new film series. A film that, like Iron Man, got sequels. 2 of them. Actually 3, because there's getting another one coming out for Phase 4. Yep. So the next movie review, I'm going to talk about Thor. Yep. Now, I should also point out, though, before I end this video, aside from Tony, is there any other character in the movie? Of course, Stanley doesn't make a cameo in the movie. His cameo is that he's Larry King. Yep. Now, aside from Iron Man, the only other characters he created specifically in this movie is just Pepper and Happy. That's basically it. War Machine is a creation of Bob Layton and Dave Michelini, though the idea was given to him by somebody else. Justin Hammer is also a creation of Dave Michelini and Bob Layton. Yes. Though this version of Whiplash actually would show up in the comics right after this film. Oh my gosh, he definitely would. Yeah. Yeah, the comic version of this character, who wears a different look than he would portrayed in the movie, he is created by Mark Guggenheim, Philip Barnes, and Marko Jovanovic, I think I pronounced the guy's name. Yeah, he's the one who actually created this version of the character in the comic books. And his real name is Anton Vako. He's only a very recent creation. He's only been out for 9 years. Of course, Nick Fury and Black Widow are also creations of Stan Lee. Yep. But yeah, that's it for this particular review. My next review, like I said, review of Thor. Yep. And then, of course, next one. Now, basically, at this point, there's only about 3 more first phase films left, and that's it. Yep. And then I'll take a break from phase 1, just do about a couple movies, and I'll go back to phase 2, okay? But now, this is basically it for videos today. I have no other videos planned for today. My review doing tomorrow, basically I'm doing probably about one video tomorrow, and then just a movie review, okay? So after that, that'd be pretty much it for tomorrow, okay? Produce the next view. Oh, Tuesday it's two reviews. Movie and Black Clover, right? Produce the next view. Bye.